Hello and welcome to The Truth is Funny. This is Karen Betten, and I'm just so thrilled to be the host for Colette's amazing radio show, The Truth is Funny, every third Wednesday of the month. I get so excited exploring the different topics and amazing guests that I can bring onto this show. My intention is to provide information, experiences, science, and stories that ignite the limitless truth of your nature. Podcasts are available for every show at truthisfunny.com, for the ones that I'm in, karenbetten.com, and then transformationtalkradio.com. We invite you to call in live, 1-800-930-2819, with any comments, questions, suggestions, shares, you name it. We'd love to have the audience participation. So we're turning things around a little bit today. I have a friend and colleague who has been on this ever-seeking journey with me, who also happens to be a lawyer. And we've been getting together a lot since March. A couple things changed in March for many of us. And we've been, literally, she peppers me with questions. And we thought it would be so great to share some of that questioning and discussion and dialogue with the belief, understanding, and hope that it reaches and sparks and ignites potential in anyone who is also having the same questions. Her name is Jenny Webb. She comes from a traditional Midwest background and received her BA from UCLA, where she studied, among other things, fear and perseverance. I love that. She earned her Juris Doctor degree from Pepperdine, and she has since represented doctors in medical malpractice lawsuits, so she's great at questioning, by the way. Drafted pro bono policy for the American Bar Association, mediated personal injury cases, and served clients in estate planning and real estate matters. But her life has taken a journey, right? She's had children, she had a family, and she became a dedicated dogged seeker of truth and wellness, an explorer of the mind, body, and self. Her natural inquisitiveness has led her to study yoga, Reiki, healing touch, tarot, handwriting analysis, Chinese medicine, Chinese face reading, you name it. Talk or more, herbal medicine, you name it. She is game for exploring anything. And I am so excited to have her here with us today as we just explore a dialogue about, what's our title? I can't even remember. I believe it's looking at the current climate of our fear and anxiety. So we're turning it around. Jenny's going to be asking us, me, myself, and I, all three of us, questions to just explore. So Jenny, thank you so much for joining us here on the show and taking an hour out of your day to kind of really explore the unknown, right? I know you have prepared, as all good lawyers do, many questions, and we've explored different avenues we want to go, but we're also really excited to follow the flow of whatever comes up. So please, if you have questions, call in. If you want to explore with us, call in. And I hand it over to you, Jenny. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Karen, thank you for having me. I love this. I'm so excited because I want to draw out all that beautiful wealth of information that, well, there's way too much to draw out in 40 minutes, but I just can't wait to see what we might talk about today. And I want to dive right in. I don't know if your listeners know how qualified you are to talk about all these things, but you are highly qualified based on your experiences and your studies and your self exploration. I know all that, and I'm just putting it out there that this is true. Karen is qualified to talk about what we're going to talk about today, and I'm sure your background information will come up as we talk. So let's just get into the subject because I think that you have quite a bit to offer here. And why don't I'll remind everyone what we're here to talk about today. What is available beyond the rational mind and Western medicine to support ourselves when faced with this current climate of fear and anxiety? So, Karen.
And we shouldn't make assumptions that everybody's experiencing fear and anxiety, right? Although, I've yet to talk to anyone who's not, but anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
And I was wondering about worry too. So, how about if we start with that? If you could explain how you view, as an energy practitioner and a human being, what you think it means when we talk about being in fear, anxiety, and even maybe worry.
Yeah, there's a lot of charge around those words, right? There's a lot of, and interesting, in medicine, I was trained to, get a consult. We needed a psych consult, or we needed a social worker consult, or we needed a consult to deal with someone's, deal with, and I put that in quotes, deal with someone's worry, anxiety, and fear. And being a trauma nurse for all those years, I really found myself at a certain stage in my life, probably late 30s, well, mid 30s, experiencing an incredible amount of fear, anxiety, and worry. And I started on a seeking path. I had been told multiple times that medications were the route for me, and many different um, practitioners had suggested that I needed to be medicated. And there was something in my soul that was like, I just want to keep exploring. That just doesn't feel. I mean, I didn't know much at that time, but that just didn't feel like the path for me. So one of the most profound openings was in exploring the Chinese medicine philosophy of emotions, that they are really fuels of energy. They are designed to get us moving, and they really serve us.
Wait,
And
can you
that can
tell us
be
what is that again? The Chinese what?
Chinese medicine philosophy, which looks at emotions as serving us. They are fuels for movement. Worry helps to move through that which we are unclear about. And it's interesting, when I first started learning about the emotions, the one I kept forgetting, like how it benefited us, was worry. Why? Because I was, I don't want to say suffering, but I was feeling worry all the time. And the more I felt it, the more I thought something was wrong and that it needed to change and that I was broken and that I needed help. And to turn it around a bit and see this possibility that the fear or the worry or the anxiety could actually be serving me was kind of mind blowing. And that there's an entire 2,000-year-old philosophical framework that sees these emotions as serving us. And I really had to dig in deep, right? Like how could you possibly suggest that any of these emotions that seem to be paralyzing me from functioning and getting to my to-do list are serving me? And there led the conflict, right? This inner idea, right? A conflict of philosophy. They are a sign that we're broken, or they're a sign that we are expanding. They're a sign that something needs to move through the body that is being stagnant, versus the sign that I need help, that I'm broken. I mean, pretty profound, right? When you think about experiencing worry and you offer the opportunity, just feel your body, that this worry is serving you. You may not know how it's serving you right here, right now, but what if it was serving you?
Yeah, don't you think people just want the worry to go away?
Right. And I was actually working with a college student yesterday who's had some pretty profound results. We're crippled with anxiety and panic attacks. And we were exploring, she was like, well, the next level. She's like, it's gotten so much better. All that's left is, she's like, sometimes when I go to a friend's house, I get so frozen that I'm going to be shamed, that someone's going to test positive in that class or in that house, which will then start this ripple effect of shame that I went to that house and I contributed to spreading COVID to people. And I get paralyzed with fear when I'm about to go into the house. So we
Not because she's
explored,
not because she's sick.
not because she's sick, but if someone in that house were to test positive, or if she were to test positive, right? Because all the college students are getting tested on a regular basis, not based on them having symptoms, but just getting regular tests, right? So you never know who's going to come out positive. And then there's, as she was describing, this sort of shame, guilt ripple effect of like, oh my gosh, can you believe so-and-so tested positive? And she was at so-and-so's house with 8 people yesterday. She shouldn't have been in that house. So there's this, anytime she goes out or engages in anything, whether it's with her sports team or whatever it might be, that she's at risk for being shamed or feeling awful for what she did. And so I said to her, what if that feeling and that sense that you're getting in your body when you start to go into that house is serving you? What if it's actually saying, and offering you the opportunity to revere it, right? To honor it. What if you honored it and said, hey, this may be telling me not to go into this house right now. And you fully and 100% give in to the idea that that worry is bothering, is offering you an opportunity, and listen to it. And you go home and you either take a bath, or you use your flower essences, or you use whatever it is that you use to offer yourself a vehicle to move it through. You create a pathway that your inner wisdom starts to recognize you will listen to it, right? And then the next time it happens, right, and you're going to a house and you feel that fear or that worry or whatever you want to call it, agitation arise, you can sit with it and say, hey, do I need to listen to this? Or is this, just a little bit of a before I go into a house and it feels stronger? And as we get to build this relationship of honoring what's arising in our body mind, we start to heed the cues that our intelligence is giving us, right? Maybe that house is filled with people who are actually suffering from deep levels of anxiety that would not serve you because you hadn't processed the week's anxiety. And therefore, and this is what she said, she's like, that's so funny that you say that, because the last time I went to a house, I got home and I was literally wrecked with anxiety over it. So did that going to the house, socializing, supposed to be fun to be with my friends. I need to get out of my house. I'm stuck in my house. Did it ultimately serve you? And she had this huge aha moment that maybe it's her inner wisdom not nudging her, saying, listen, today's not the day. Let's go back home. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's nurture ourselves, and let's explore what happens then.
Karen, I think this is a good time for you to talk about the rational mind. How does the rational mind play into this?
Right. Well, the rational mind is really the information that we know, right? It's what makes sense to us. It's what people have taught us. It's the ideas that society has, our family has. It's our own beliefs. It's our own projections. It's our own ideas of why and how things happen.
So your college student, she's standing at the door, and how is the rational mind?
And the rational mind saying, you need to get out. You need to bond with your friends. You haven't seen your teammates in forever. You're the captain. You need to go in. It's your job to be strong and to be the leader for these people. And then the inside is going, no, I don't want to. My heart is racing. I'm breaking out in a sweat. This doesn't feel right at all. And they're clashing with each other, right? One is a set of ideals that have been put on us of who and how we're supposed to act. And one is our intuitive wisdom talking to each other. And the more the more we have, we don't have pathways to honor that wisdom, right? If you see that anxiety, see, I'm broken and I'm wrong, I'm feeling nervous and I'm supposed to be in here and I'm broken, somebody needs to fix me, right? And we deny those subtle nuanced cues, more distance becomes between the two pieces. Right? But when we engage that wisdom, which can feel just as crazy the moment you do it, right? You're literally going home, and we laughed about this because she's like, yeah, I can see I would go home and I would beat myself up over all the things that I should have done because I'm captain and I'm all this and I didn't handle my role correctly. But here's the thing, if you are not fully connected to yourself, if you are feeling scattered because the emotions are rising through you, and you honor that through nurturing and nourishing yourself, whatever those ways of doing that are, which are unique for each person, you show up susceptible to other people's energies, to lots of things, right? To feeling disconnected. And then we look to the external world to make us feel connected, right? Well, then I need to connect with someone because I'm feeling disconnected. So let me call and make a lunch date with my friend, or where the reality is we're all seeking this sense of interconnection, wholeness that can truly only happen from exploring our own inner landscape.
So we need to connect to ourselves. Or maybe you don't want to say we need to do anything, but you're suggesting.
Oh yeah, right. And listen, all of this is under the only take this framework that I am presenting if it aligns for you, right? Because everyone's truth is that diverse. And this may not at all resonate for you, and this may not all align. And I absolutely honor that. You know, the beauty of humanity is getting to know yourself in a way that you get clear on what serves you and what doesn't, right? And knowing that that is feeding your unique spark, right? Like we are each unique, amazing individuals. We have a lot of commonalities, but we have unique needs because we have unique memories. We have unique experiences. We have unique emotions. We have unique projections and beliefs about what could happen and expectations. And if we ignore how those are driving our life experience, we're losing out on the opportunity to share our true gifts with the world.
And is this a coping skill that we could develop in the face of the craziness that we have going on around us right now?
Yeah, I love that word, right? Coping. And it's so funny, like coping for me sounds like, I mean, excuse the word, like half-assed, right? Like only because of my old belief systems, like, oh my God, I'm coping. Oh, here I am coping again. Well, this is just a coping mechanism, right? But the reality is we're always coping, right? We're always just doing the best we can with the understandings that we have in every moment. And our choosing to believe that anything that happened to us in the past was wrong happens after the effect, right? And we're not really seeing that experience from all lenses, right? Like there's no way you can see the nuances of what happened 2 days ago, particularly if you were upset. You only see it through the lens of your emotions. Does that make sense?
I guess. I mean, we're talking about connecting to self, I think. And and everyone's, let's just take the presumption that everyone's scared and worried and anxious. So one way we could approach it, if it resonated, would be to look inside of ourselves and honor what's
Well,
coming up.
yeah, I would say, what we're presenting here in this moment is noticing the thoughts in your head, right? Noticing as you're standing on the steps about to go into, the house of your teammates when you are captain, and those running thoughts that say who and how you're supposed to show up, as opposed to feeling connected and just trusting and going with the flow of it. Same thing, the running thoughts that are dictating what you believe will happen when you walk in to take that test. The running thoughts that are keeping you from being present in the moment because you are worried about all of the mistakes that you might make, right? We start to create a little separation between the rational mind, meaning the part of us that is operating from what we know about the world or what we've been indoctrinated or what other people believe, to the cues that are in our true essence, that are the part of us that shows up to every experience, and creating a little space between them so that we create the opportunity to be aware of what our essence and our inner wisdom is inviting us to be given the opportunity to listen to it.
Okay, got it.
Does that that kind of
Yeah.
makes sense, right? Like, so if you notice that your mind is running off relentlessly and you can just kind of observe it, oh, isn't that interesting? That's the part of me that thinks I need to know, or believes that I'm the one that makes mistakes, or the one that's not good enough, or the one that never does anything right. Can I just notice it? And that's it, right? Observation by quantum physics principle starts to change your biochemistry immediately. Just observing your thoughts will change your biochemistry.
That is so cool.
You will secrete different neurotransmitters, different hormones, which will then lead to a cascade of events that is completely different. For example, and were we talking about this? I've had a little cold, and I was noticing, right, these thoughts of, oh my gosh, what if it's COVID? Oh my gosh, who have I been around? Oh, I'm feeling short of breath as I go up the stairs. Meanwhile, I've run up 3 flights of stairs to catch my headphones because I couldn't find them, right? Oh my goodness. And then reframe it from this new idea that I've been exploring, that viruses are serving us and it's detoxifying my body in this very deep, powerful way. And I could immediately feel my shoulders relax, feel my body release into this well of inner wisdom and knowing, saying everything that happens to my body is serving me. You will immediately create a different inner environment, different biochemicals. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds so easy.
Well, and the thing is, part of it is becoming aware of when you're not feeling ease and trust and connection to the truth of yourself. And then the first thing you can do is notice it. And then if that's not enough to kind of shift it, if you don't feel a change in your body, you can drop into, a relentless number of tools like this college student who's a senior, has been using flower essences. And she literally was like, I don't know what they are magic. I can be, trying to go to sleep at night, have all these running thoughts about how awful, and I'm never gonna, and I take those and I magically start to fall asleep. Right? Amazing. They could be energy medicine techniques. They could be a walk in the woods. They could be talking to a friend, that holds space for the opportunity and everything. Right?
Would you say, do you think it's fair to say that our culture has evolved to the point where these options are not the go-tos? And that the rational mind is really in charge here, generally speaking?
The reality is I don't know if that's true. I think our awareness of the role of both aspects of us is difficult to hold simultaneously, right? So if we think we're in overthinking, we think on some level that we need to reset to feel our essence and our truth. And the more I've studied this work, the more I've gone down it, the less action needed to amplify that inner truth, that inner wisdom, that inner sense of peace. And as I can sort of sit with that exploratory experience that is unique to me, right? Some days it's going to be calling a friend to kind of literally vomit what's coming up for me. And if they hold space for me, right? Wow, right? You have a couple friends like that, I would imagine, right? That and afterwards you feel lighter. And they didn't try to solve your problems. They didn't go deeper. Gosh, that might be awful. I'm so sorry that is happening to you. They often just hold space for the existence of the charge, and that alone can move it out.
So it's like helping you find a way to balance maybe your awareness and then your non-awareness.
Well, it's interesting. I have found my own frustration being an Aries kind of go get 'em person, like this idea of balance. Well, am I in balance? I don't know. I think I might be in balance now. I'm not in balance now. No, it feels balanced. Nope, it's not balanced. I think I'm off. I know. And I need to get more balanced. I'm definitely not balanced. Balance is actually a state that allows dynamic movement within it, right? Like we do this in posture, if what's a good posture? You hold your shoulders back and your chest out, right? And you suck your belly in, and that's what we consider good posture. But if any of you, go ahead, audience, do it, right? Take your shoulders back, your chest forward, lift your pelvic. A good floor is a lifted pelvic floor. Pull in that abdominals. Do you feel balanced? Do you? Are you doing it?
Yeah, no, I'm not that. No.
Right? So this idea like, oh, if my shoulders are rounded forward, I'm not balanced, right? So there's this element that there's actually a surrender and a dynamicism. Is that a word? Help me, Laura.
I like it, but I've never heard it.
Give me another word. Help me. The dynamic nature of balance means we are allowing for the nuance adjustments that are necessary in every moment because we are multidimensional. We are not just mental. We are not just physical. We are not just emotional. We are not just spiritual. We are all things combined at all times, in addition to some others that we have not yet identified.
I like that. And awareness seems to be the piece that connects it all.
Well, and that's the thing. And what is awareness? Awareness is like the rational mind in some way, right? So we can use awareness to serve us.
Right.
When we can see it as, right? So we're not even saying the rational mind is a bad thing. Wait, so you're saying, I can hear the question, right? Nothing is bad? Right. I mean, that's the one I get challenged with the most. People like get so angry with me. Like, how dare you say that me being scared of this virus can make me more susceptible to it? Well, the reality is when we're in fear, and by fear, I don't mean fear that's arising, right? When we're in fear and we're tightened up and we're armoring our body for something that's out there that's going to get us, our immune system is literally shut down. And we'll get more onto that when we come back. We do need to take a break. I cannot believe how fast this is going. This is crazy. But thank you so much to the audience. Thank you to Jenny. I'm so enjoying this conversation. And we're going to get back to about, exploring, why is the immune system not available to us when we are in fear, when we are armoring against an attack from an outside force. And feel free to call in, but we will be right back. So you are back. I am back. We are back on The Truth is Funny. And I am interviewing Jenny Webb, but it's actually not true at all because Jenny Webb is interviewing me. She is a lawyer. She's interrogating me in the most profound, beautiful way as we explore emotions, things like fear and worry and anxiety that may be arising, and looking at the role of the rational mind in this, and the role of all these other aspects of our being that we can amplify our awareness of to support us in shifting that experience. Not only shifting the experience, but shifting how we view it, right? How we view emotions. Maybe rewriting them to not be something that is bad, but actually something that's serving us. So that being said, before we go any further, Jenny, could you please share your contact information? So in case anyone wants to get in touch with you for your interrogation skills. Or any other skills, your inquisitive nature, your openness to all of this, please do share.
Okay, great. My email is jbwebb, WEBB 2000 @gmail.
Yeah, and what services do you offer, right? You teach a movement class, I think, every week or several times a week, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Emphasis on breath work lately, in the fear of all this, in the climate that we're talking about here, the fear, etc., how important the breath is.
Yeah, yeah. So beautiful, right? I mean, yeah, there's so many tools that can be amplify that wisdom, right? And the thing is that I love to put in here, pigging back on to where we ended, right? Which was about the immune system and how it is naturally suppressed when we're experiencing fear is, I don't know if you've ever heard the term, like calm down, right? Has anybody ever told you to calm down, right? Like, calm down, Karen. Oh my God. I start tensing up just hearing the words. Calm down, Karen. Karen, calm down. Jenny, calm down, right? Nobody ever calmed down by being told to calm down, right? And what is your inner dialogue, right? How often are you telling yourself to calm down? And can we start to notice a directive like that doesn't necessarily change things? It literally is emphasizing the idea that what you're experiencing is wrong. And I want to reframe that to using tools that help integrate it, right? First off, your awareness that you're not calm, super powerful. You are a rock star, right? Because how many times have we, and we've had all still, this doesn't go away, right? We have an extreme set of emotions. We're not even aware we're in them. Or better yet, we're in them having a full reaction. Have you ever had this? And you're above yourself going, good Lord, Karen, what is wrong with you? Like, calm down. Like, what just happened, right? There are reactions that absolutely serve us in coming through. Sometimes they're to set boundaries, sometimes they're to express joy, whatever it might be. So we can use tools to do that. Now, getting back to understanding why this idea of being in fear, fear that we're being attacked, armoring our body, scared of whatever else is out there, scared of another human being that could unknowingly be transferring some deadly virus to us, or could be unknowing transfer some bad energies, right? When I got into all this energy work, there's a lot of talk of bad energies as if they're out there and they can come in and get us. The reality is we are never really separate from anything. And a way to tap into that is to know, like, if you've lost a loved one, you can tap into a memory of being with them as if it is happening right here, right now, right? You can feel their smile, you can feel their skin on you, you can feel the presence of them right here, right now, right? And that is like, we're not separate from things that have happened to us in the past. That being said, if we're in a state of fear, what is happening to the immune system? Well, the reality is fear, armoring, absolute fright amplifies the sympathetic nervous system, which is designed to get us to run away, right? That was designed to get us away from the bear, get us away from whatever is attacking us that is likely an animal or is likely another human being that's about to shoot us, whatever it might be. And if our immune system is then attacking or utilizing a reaction to the bacteria or the virus or the fungi or the parasite in that moment, it serves no one but the thing that's about to eat you, right? It will become the bear's problem, that bacteria in your virus. What you need to do is run and get out of there. So all the blood is shunted to your extremities, away from your organs.
Wait, hang on. So this is happening to people right now, just because of COVID, not because of bears, right?
Or COVID, or the bills that they can't pay, or the imminent eviction from their house, or the isolation, or the lack of human contact, or the fear of the storm that's coming, or the flooding in their basement from the recent I mean, you can go on and on and on, right? The bears are not necessarily of a physical nature, and we actually can't run away from them anymore because they don't actually have that type of, but our reaction response is similar. It's the same, right? It goes out to our extremities, away from our organs, endocrines that are designed to renew and rejuvenate our body. So we immediately go into reaction mode. We cannot be in both at the same time, right? It's kind of like you can't be on the gas pedal and the brake. And this is all Bruce Lipton work. If you want to look into Bruce Lipton, he's absolutely amazing. He wrote the book, The Biology of Belief, and so many others. But you literally can't have your foot on the go and on the brake at the same time, right? We have two modes. We are either in armoring, protection, running, get out, or we are in renewing and rejuvenating. Now, back to what you said before, as far as our operating system, what many of us have lost is the full perfusion of that renewing and rejuvenating aspect of our nervous system. We are constantly on hyper alert, right? You go from your phone to your watch to your computer. You are in go, go, go mode. The world has provided us the opportunity to be productive and going at all times. And if you're not worrying about one thing, you're worrying about the next thing, right? How am I going to pay the bill? Wait, I'm being shut down again. Wait, I'm under COVID. Wait, I forgot my mask, right? Whatever it might be. Wait, my son is being shamed because he got COVID and he's now the center of infection. And everybody's trying to figure out who it is.
So, Karen, there's another way of dealing besides being in the sympathetic nervous system all day long, right?
Well, yeah. And I would say step one is just becoming aware, right? What if, and you've met those people, right? They're not even aware that they're in hyper functioning state. And so many people come to my office or work with me on the phone and they start yawning and their stomach starts gurgling and they're like, oh my goodness, I feel so relaxed. What did you just do? Well, the reality is when you meet the frequency of ease and trust and connectedness, your body responds immediately. And your body just reacts while your mind's still going, right? Your mind's like, what are you doing? You can't relax. And my clients become acutely aware of and they're like, wow, I feel so tired. Why am I yawning so much? Well, your body is using this opportunity to nurture and nourish itself with a beautiful deep breath in And then, as you mentioned, breath work, right? Exhaling out, letting go of all that you don't need on a chemical level, on an emotional level, on every level possible. But that path may be unique for everyone, right? It might be a massage. It might be a walk outside. Have you ever felt watching a sunset, this incredible distance between you and the charge of whatever you showed up there that was burdening your life, right?
What connection do you think is happening right there, or in the office when they're?
Well, nature has this information field of wholeness, that we can tap into because we are all made of the same things, right? We're rearranged slightly, but we're all made of the same elements. So that frequency of wholeness that you feel when you're, hug a tree, when you engage with a plant, when you look at a sunset, your cells, atoms, and molecules recognize it immediately. They absolutely know how to let go. They know how to surrender. They know the truth and the essence of you. They know that you are enough exactly as you are in this moment, whether you have a cold, whether you are sick in bed, whether you got divorced, whether you're being shamed for not wearing a mask, whatever it matters. And they immediately will respond to that.
Wait, go back. The molecules and cells of your body.
The internal wisdom of your atoms, your molecules, your cells, your operating system.
They connect with the beauty of nature.
Absolutely. It has actually been shown that when you go look at a flower, right, you find a flower that you're attracted to, we all think it's the smell and the scent that attracts us there. But there is a vibrational frequency, and you can look up Purelin cameras, and they can actually capture these frequencies. And your wisdom, your frequency, will be alerted to that frequency, which is what initially pivots your attention over to the flower. And then you think, oh, it's the color and the smell that I love.
Wait, so my frequency it can be the same as a flower frequency, or the flower frequencies?
It exists in you, right? All frequencies exist. We're not actually separate. Like, we believe there's space between you and I, right? And the reality is, right, somehow we're talking on this. We don't really even understand it, right? Somehow I am looking at you, I can see you move, and I can talk. But when you get down to the quantum level, there is an endless number of frequencies that are connecting us. We are not disconnected at all. That is why someone can come up with a brand new idea simultaneously to me on the other side of the globe, which is the hilarity of trying to do patents, right? I own this thought. No, you don't. You don't own any thought. We are all connected. Have you ever thought about someone and then they called you?
Yeah. I love
You're
that.
tapping into that. Have you ever, most people who've observed an accident will say they had a feeling that, before it happened. That's how mutable time is. That's how in touch we are. That's how infinite our possibilities are for creating change. And here's the thing, just because we don't focus on it doesn't mean it's not happening. And the minute you provide your body, mind, exactly what it needs, whether like all the lists that we've talked about, your body will respond dramatically.
But
And
wait, are you saying when
become aware, right? Sorry. Then you become aware that you got on the phone and it made you anxious, or that you got on the TV and it made you anxious. And then you can make a choice. You know what? I'm not going to make that phone call tonight because I won't be able to show up in my wholeness. Have you ever had that, like a conversation with a friend or family member where after you hang up the phone, you're like, I don't even know who was talking. Half the things I said, I don't even believe. Have you ever had that where you felt like someone sort of took you over and you were talking in ways that you didn't really even believe?
I know that feeling.
And that's the product of being disconnected. And in committing to exploring this sense of connection, this sense of wholeness that is a product of exploring your own internal landscape, you can maybe choose to not make that conversation happen that night. Do it at another time when you feel different.
So we're committing to staying connected with ourselves, which means we're paying attention, right?
Yeah. Well, we become aware of additional perspectives that are not the ones we're being fed relentlessly, right? We're being fed in our world to pay attention to intellectual knowledge, to what everyone else knows. We're not necessarily celebrating sensing and feeling the body. And I am offering this experience that I've had in my own life that can be quite profound, that as you develop a deeper sense and felt connection to your own body mind, therein lies your wisdom that can be the rudder that leads you in creating the change that you are seeking in your life. You'll make the right instead of the left, and then you'll meet the absolute right person to offer you the information or the course that you are looking for, you know, and have that incredible connection. Like one of my clients came to me yesterday and she was having an amazing experience. Like she just couldn't believe it. She had lost her son who had OD'd to drugs, 5 years ago. And she said, this is amazing. The way I found you was in a local hairdresser. And I started having a conversation with a stranger and we were both masks. And for whatever reason, we both dove in and found that we had both experienced profound loss. And she told me about you. How come I don't know about you? Those are profound, beautiful moments where we start to connect to our inner guidance is always there.
Karen, and I love that your practice is called limitless living, and that speaks to what you're talking about right here. You're not there to fix that woman's problems, but you are shining a light on our wisdom, our individual wisdoms, and the impact of sensing and feeling what's going on within us.
And
right?
and in my own experience, that path leads to the dissolution of dis-ease, right? We suddenly no longer have, pre-diabetes. We no longer have chronic colds, chronic urinary infections. As we start to look at our own inner landscape, look at the things that tie us up, while we also commit to exploring the magic. And there's nothing more magical than meeting with another person and witnessing them have an aha moment of their own inner magic that has been guiding them all along, even in the face of profound loss of even something so tragic as a child. And I may cry with my client. Like I don't, all those old professional, ideas of how I'm supposed to show up. I don't have any rules anymore. General, I don't cry with my clients, but on occasion, if we're both emitting incredible amounts of joy, sometimes tears come, right? Conversely, sometimes watching and witnessing the beautiful tears of release of someone who has experienced profound loss, and they connect to that safety and security frequency that allows them to let it go. I might have a few tears that let go of myself because it's so beautiful. It's such a privilege to witness that. It is such a privilege to watch the wisdom of our bodies flowing through our body and then honoring whatever it is. It might be an anger outburst. It might be worry. It might be screaming. Yes.
Karen, so you are trained in traditional Western medicine as a nurse practitioner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're describing here is different from what you experienced as a nurse practitioner and what you were trained to do, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, my role was very task oriented, and I was known for sometimes
Somewhat.
shirking my responsibilities to be fully in the swirl of human connection, which is what led to me. I worked night shift a lot because I got a lot more time to sit with my clients, which is what I really enjoyed. And there became a time where I was walking around a hospital, and I will never forget it. And I knew I had to explore a different framework for creating change, but I had no idea what it was. And I also had a young girl, my daughter, my oldest was about a year old at that time, and 9/11 had just happened, and it was the perfect time to pull back. The surgeon I worked for, God bless him, he couldn't believe it. And what was so funny is he said to me, I don't know what you're doing, you are not meant to be a stay-at-home mom. And I took such offense to that. The reality is I was like, how dare you denigrate, being a stay-at-home mom? Like I got really like crazy about that. Probably didn't talk to him for a little while.
This was when you pulled back from
Yeah,
practice.
from being a nurse practitioner. And the reality is he was speaking a truth. Not that I wasn't, but that I am most lit up when I'm, you know, able to be with my children and share my ups and downs with them while I'm pursuing this incredible seeking truth path. And there was a crux moment where I was deep in depression, anxiety, and everything, where I thought about that surgeon's words. And I was like, there is an element of truth. And how funny how 5 years ago it made me angry. And why did it make me angry? Because there were two conflicting beliefs that were meeting each other in the middle. That a good mom couldn't be highly involved in work, or that I couldn't be both things at once, or that I in some way was not enough because I wanted to be at home with my daughter. Or once I was at home with my daughter, that I was not enough because I really didn't want to be there anymore. And both of them serving me.
But eventually you started playing with this idea of your inner wisdom being the ultimate guide.
Yeah, I don't even know that I could have articulated that even a year ago. And I remember I've worked a lot with Lotus Way flower essences and Katie Hess. And I did, this time, the last 2 years, I would be in a retreat in Costa Rica with her team. And wow, so profound. But I remember those moments of sitting in these circles where we were just playing with flower essences and feeling such a sense of ease that I had never in my body. And I literally was like, well, we're not doing anything. Literally, like, there's nothing going on. And I would sit next to Katie and I would look at her and I'd feel this vibratory change that I thought required so much effort. And all I was doing was sitting next to a woman who had committed on the most profound level to transformation. She has literally said, I am here to experience enlightenment in this lifetime. And that means something different to everyone. But wow, I came from change needed, surgery, right? Recovery, lots of suffering. And here I was experiencing radical transformation by just sitting in Costa Rica. Because in that moment, right, that was uniquely aligned for me. That may not be for everyone, right? They might need the surgery. And I'm not to say that's not an amazing choice. But no one knows truly the path that is most powerful for you but you. And engaging in exploring your own inner landscape, getting curious about our emotions, getting curious about the things that arise in your life is the most powerful path for getting clarity on what serves you most deeply.
Yeah, and I feel like the first thing a lot of people do is not that, but look externally for what can serve me.
Yeah, and I would say I did that too for a lot of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always have that awareness to know when I'm starting to think like that again, right? And so to think that that's not serving us is a limited thought as well, right? And we as a human race are experiencing quite a dramatic sense of angst and worry that can actually serve for our ultimate transformation, so that we can integrate it rather than seeing it as separate as us. We're seeing that we're a victim of it. No. Your individual transformation is the most powerful way to shift humanity as a whole. No one's coming to save us. No expert, no doctor, no president, no nothing. Everything has this unbelievable opportunity from an inside job.
So we're all getting to know ourselves and we're all detoxifying.
Isn't that amazing? Oh my God. And with that, we have 2 minutes left. Yeah. So here we are on the journey of getting to know ourselves and witnessing the incredible discomfort that's involved in that, the incredible pain, but then also, starting to recognize that that pain and that discomfort is truly our path for letting in levels of light and joy and abundance and ease that we couldn't know possible without swimming in the shadows and
Beautiful.
holding space for those shadows to be just as powerful as the joy, just as powerful as the laughter, just as powerful as the connection.
So we get worried, we get scared, we get anxious, and we pick up the phone to call the doctor, but instead we put the phone down and then we enjoy that moment.
Maybe, or maybe we go see the doctor, right? And that's the perfect thing for us in that moment, right? But we simultaneously may be drawn, for those who want to explore something else. Maybe after they see the doctor, right? And start to explore what feels most aligned for them, right? Do I go to the hospital? Do I not go to the hospital? That is an internal exploration. I've worked with so many people that have moved through their respiratory symptoms of COVID over the phone, saved them from going to the hospital. That can be an amazing opportunity, right? We don't even understand our potential. And that's what's so exciting for someone like me who's come from the trauma ICU to recognizing that over the phone, we can shift somebody's respiratory acute distress. Sometimes, not always. It's each person's individual path. And who are we, right? I see that person through my lens, but I'm trained to hold space for whatever it is. Hold the opportunity that's perfect for both of us.
So whatever emotions, oh, that's the end.
That's the end. Yeah. I think there it is, right? Getting to know ourselves. So Jenny, thank you so much. I think we're going to be doing this again. This was so fun. Just exploring. I loved your questions. I loved your enthusiasm. Yeah. Do you have any last final words?
Well, thanks, Karen. It was, I love hearing you spout off. You have a lot more to share. That's so helpful.
It's so fun to engage in the dynamic. Okay, 15 seconds. So this is Karen Betten and Jenny Webb. I'm a regular host on The Truth is Funny. Colette will be back next week as usual with a regular show. Thank you so much to Olivia, to the producers, to the community. What an amazing experience. We'll hang on for Colette next week at 8 a.m. Bye, Jenny. Thank you so much.
Bye.